Hey everybody, so this is a follow-up to my last video. I'm just doing this right after the first one that I just posted, or that's uploading now. But yeah, this is just a continuance. So yeah, the summer between 7th and 8th grade, well, okay, first, if you haven't seen the video before this, look down below and I'll post a link to that. So watch that one first, then come back to this one. Okay, so the summer between 7th and 8th grade, I started to refuse to eat. I lost a good 65, 70 pounds, and I definitely became anorexic. My whole body image was so screwed up. I was so skinny. I went from, I know, a size 16 to a size 5. And I still, whenever I looked at myself, I saw just a fat girl. I felt so ugly, and then, I went back into public school and I was skinny, and I after that summer, I didn't continue with the anorexic stuff because my mom had pretty much put her foot down, and I was becoming too small and I was becoming too obsessed with myself. So I stopped all that and I started eating again and everything. And when I got into 8th grade, I went back to my public school that I was in 6th grade and saw some old friends and some people, that I had known back in 6th grade, and they were like, "You look great," and blah, blah, blah. But actually, the bullying definitely got worse, even in public school. There was so many more people. There was so much more people, and, there's people that I was cool with from 6th grade, and then there was a lot of other people. And I actually remember my first day back of 8th grade. I was about a size 5, and I had bleached my hair, so I was blonde. I just wanted to look completely different than I did. I was wearing really thick makeup, and I was just so skinny and so obsessed with how I looked. I just wanted to look the complete opposite, so hopefully nobody would make fun of me from there on out. But I actually remember my first day, this one girl, and I remember it was in math class. This girl, Jasmine, had actually sat beside me, and her little friend that looked like a boy, who was like acting like a boy or whatever, she like started messing with my hair, and she was like, "What is this? This is like, hey, what the fuck is wrong with your hair?" And I was like, great. I was like, here we go with this shit again. So it definitely continued through 8th grade. I was constantly being called a whore because I wore makeup, because I had my hair bleached, because I was so skinny. At that time, I had a huge butt, a huge boobs. I was growing into my body, but I was so self-conscious about it. I hated my body, even though I was in a size 5 and skinny, and, had my hair bleached and everything. It was like much more hostile stuff now that I was growing up. I had grown this body, and my hair was bleached and everything, so I was being called a whore. I was being called this. I was being called that. I was saying, I was hearing all these rumors about me, that I had slept with this guy and I had slept with that guy, and I had given a blowjob to this guy, or it was so crazy. I couldn't even believe that these people were saying this. I was a virgin. I don't even think I'd kissed anybody. I didn't kiss anybody till my summer of 8th grade, I think. I can't remember. But it was so unbelievable. I mean, and then, later on in the year, as people were starting to see how I was getting treated, I started losing friends. I started, having my friends turn against me, and they were bullying me too. There was a couple friends that I was cool with, and then, they linked up with somebody else, and then they both started, bullying me and just talking down to me, and just, it was back to the same thing, and I was back to the same feeling of why. Why is this happening to me? What did I do to these people? People would look at me and they would automatically make a judgment about me. She's a whore, she's a bitch, she's this, she's that, she thinks she's this, she thinks she's that. You don't know how many times in my 8th grade year that I heard, "You think you're cute, don't you, bitch?" Oh my God. And at that point, it was like, you can't fight them all. You can't fight them all. There's no way. You know, I tried to kill him with kindness. That wouldn't work. I was called fake for that. You know, you can't be mean to him, or, you know, you'll have 8 big-ass, manly-ass looking girls jump you. So that didn't work. And it was like, I was such a loner in 8th grade. You know, I had very few friends. I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know how to make friends. I didn't know why these people hated me. I didn't know why this was happening to me. It was complete hell. And, you know, it started to ease up in, well, no, I can't say it eased up when I went to high school. It really didn't. When I went to high school, and it, you know, I made more friends. I definitely did. There was a lot more people that I was friends with, and a lot more people that, you know, saw the real me, and they saw who I really was, and they liked who I really was. But then again, you know, it's high school, and hormones are crazy, and, you know, it went right back to, she's a whore, she's a white bitch, she's this, she's that, she thinks she's cute, she thinks she's better than me. And it was like, I was back to the same thing. I don't know why these people are doing this to me. And I mean, I really just want to put out there to anybody who's going through this, you know, just please listen to what I'm saying. You know, I eventually, as I, you know, got older and, you know, I turned 18, 19, 20, I had to get over that what these people were saying. You can't believe what they're saying. You have to accept you and be happy with who you are. You have to, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. If you have a family that's behind you, if you have a few, even if it's just one friend that's behind you, that's all that matters. Hold on to that. Find your strength and hold on to it. These people that are bullying you are doing it because they're weak. They're weak people who are so insecure about themselves and are so jealous of who you are, and that's why they're doing it. I know friends and family and teachers might tell you the same thing and you think it's bullshit, but it's true. Behind the mind of a bully is an insecure, weak person who is just trying to put somebody else down and make themselves feel better. It's such a weak choice that no truly good-hearted person would ever do. No good-hearted, I could never picture myself bullying somebody to feel better about myself. I never did bully anybody, ever. You know, and I just really hope that somebody can take some strength from my video. Seriously, be strong. You know, I know it's hard. I know it breaks my heart to think that anybody else could be going through this, let alone so many people. You know, I know how it is. I know the feeling, trust me. I know the feeling of going home and just crying and not knowing what to do with yourself. Not knowing why these people hate you so much. Not knowing why you have to go through this. Knowing that you don't deserve it. I'm getting choked up again. But it's a terrible feeling. And if you're one of those bullies, just think about what you're doing to these people. Just think about it. It's truly breaking somebody down, and it's unimaginable how bad you're breaking somebody down with this. You know, to be alienated in a school, to be looked down upon by people your age, and especially when you've never done anything to these people, when you've just went into the school wanting to make friends and wanting to, you know, make those connections, and you don't. It's such a terrible feeling. And it's something that you do carry through adulthood, but you need to grow from it and you need to learn from it. You know, be yourself and accept yourself for who you are. Do not let anybody else change how you feel about you. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. Find your strength and hold on to it for dear life. You know, I know it's hard now. I really do. I know exactly what you're going through, but it gets better with time. Time and strength, it gets better. Build a support system for yourself. Because these bullies, these assholes, aren't going anywhere. There will be bullies till the end of time. But you have to be stronger. You have to know in the back of your mind that you're better than this. You know, I really hope that somebody took something from these videos. If it's even just one person that, you know, I gave a good advice to, then that's all that matters. You know, if you have any questions, or if you need a shoulder to cry on or an ear to listen to, you feel free to message me anytime. But I just pray that somebody took something from this video. And so that's about it, guys. You know, hold on and stay strong. Seriously. Find your strength. I'll see you next time, guys.